Okay, let's do it. Let's talk Destiny and Marathon. First off, I will not be playing Marathon, and it is not because I want to boycott it or throwing hate on it, but because it is not my type of game. I have very little patience for PvP games and only play a couple on occasion for a few minutes at a time as in-betweeners for other games or to share time with my daughter because she loves PvP. I hope the game succeeds, if for nothing else so that a lot of very talented devs are not thrown in the streets in massive layoffs because the finance smooth brains don't know what they're doing. However, there is no denying that Marathon is hurting Destiny 2, a game that was already struggling because of the disinterest, greed and bad management of executives at Bungie, who had no respect for their players or their devs. While the conversation for Marathon is increasing, the communication about Destiny is dwindling. And now, as we learn of the release date for Marathon, which for some reason was set very close to the next update in Destiny, we also learned that this update was pushed back 3 months. While I don't doubt that part of the reason is to make the changes they announced, I think the biggest reason is to get Destiny out of the way of Marathon. Why would they want to do that? Well, there's a couple of possible reasons I can think of. They want Bungie players to filter into Marathon instead of trying out the new update for Destiny. With nothing to do in Destiny, people who enjoy the shooting mechanics and gameplay that Bungie produces could be more tempted to jump into the other game. And while it may do so for some players, I don't think the general audience for Destiny will filter through. They want to avoid negative talk from another below expectations update to Destiny to negatively affect the conversation over Marathon. And hear me out here. I am not saying that the update was guaranteed to be bad. What I'm saying is that they had no confidence in it, and that is shown also by the delay and the experience from the last mid-season update. A frustrated player base over another bad update will flow into anything Marathon related, possibly drowning any positive messages about the game. I mean, we are already seeing that happening, so adding the bad update could just hurt things more. I think, and this is a speculation, another reason for the delay in the expansion is that after people played Marathon last year, the feedback was not that good, and with the art theft scandal they had, they really had to turn things around, and they needed more people, so they grabbed devs working in Destiny 2 to help out, which delayed production for future expansions and updates, which forced them to delay this one to give them more time to work on the rest. Destiny 2 has been in trouble for a while, and some very questionable decisions have been made. The removal of actual enticing gear in the game so that the Eververse store is more tempting, to the point where devs were asked to remove glows and effects from Trials armor because it could drive people away from the store. The cookie cutter same old events that are also microtransaction heavy. The monotonous grind with no innovation that plagued the game for a long time with the seasonal system and got worse with the episode. Bungie developing the portal, which was something they rejected early in development of Destiny 1 because it could cause the problems that we are seeing now. The lack of understanding of their player base as they push for progression to be erased every update, and to no one's surprise, that did not land well at all. And one of the biggest problems is the absolute lack of care, bordering on disrespect for their PvP player base, promising map packs that never continued, lack of attention to balancing or general issues that have been plaguing that side of the game, and PvP players are more loved than their Gambit peers. If you like Gambit in Destiny 2, I am sorry, you are completely out of their view entirely. And this is a lead up to what I think is one of the biggest slaps in the face to the Destiny community that came with the announcements for Marathon. Ever since I started playing the series in December of 2014, there have been 2 huge requests from the community to Bungie. Give us dedicated PvP servers and really dig into anti-cheat. And Bungie's response to this was minimal, bordering on absolute silence on the first one, and meandering almost inexistent attention to the second one. And what was one of the very first things they said when the first Vidoc for Marathon came out?
With Marathon, Bungie is very clearly focusing on PvP, and so from the ground up, the integrity of the experience has been absolutely critical. And it was non-negotiable that Bungie was going to be investing in dedicated servers for Marathon, disconnect recovery, and fog of war. Like, without those elements, none of this matters.
So we actually have a dedicated team in charge of security and making sure the game is as fair as possible.
And now they are also harping on how important anti-cheat is. But where was this energy with Destiny? Why were the players ignored when this was being asked of you? Why not put the same effort for Destiny? It is very clear to me that they are prioritizing Marathon, and in a way it makes sense. It is the new thing, the shiny new toy. But if they want to be a multi-IP studio, that means you have to pay as much attention to Destiny as you do Marathon. You can't set your existing player base aside and ignore them to set up the new game, especially not when they are struggling the way they are now. This may just be my view, and you may disagree, but to me Destiny has never been a game that succeeded by what it is, but what it could be. A vision of where things may go, not where they are. That could be narrative-wise or mechanics or the promise of how good it could get, which is partly why the disappointment hit so hard. We have gotten a taste of this at times with The Taken King, Forsaken, and the final Shape to some extent. But as we face the conclusion of that story, we are left in a place where those expectations are just not there. There is no longer what could be, and we are living on the reality of what is, and what is not good. And if Destiny is going to be set aside to prioritize Marathon, the apathy building up in the Destiny community will continue to grow.
And the opposite of loving a game, the thing that could kill you, is apathy. And that's so much more scary than anger.
I have never been of the agreement that Destiny 3 is the solution to the Destiny problem. If they don't fix the way content is presented and paced out, how the narrative and content loop can carry us with satisfaction from one point to the other, how they introduce and manage gear so after one content loop it is useless to grind for the new stuff, there is nothing to be gained from a new entry. However, an absolute hard reset may be necessary to bring back interest. But starting fresh is not always good. Let's not forget that Destiny 2 nearly killed the franchise. A new game cannot be, come and grind for a sleeper simulant again, get Black Hammer with its 100th name again, run this or that raid again, get Hung Jury for the 1000th time. We need new, we need innovation, we need engaging content that will not be repetitive the next time there is an update. We need a clear story that shows us a path to look forward to. They will never go with this, and I don't know if the Destiny community will fly with it, but maybe take Destiny out of the live service loop and make it a standalone iterating series like God of War, Horizon, or the Borderlands games. Tell a consistent story beginning to end, maybe 60 hours, and add a Forge mode that allows the community to create their own strikes, PvP maps, raids, and dungeons with an occasional official entry of these types from Bungie that can keep us entertained until the next entry comes. In the meantime, given the PvP nature of it, Marathon can remain a live service entry with all the microtransaction exploitation that live service games are made for. The most important thing about this is that in order to get one game ahead, they can't hurt the other. Destiny can't hurt Marathon and vice versa. Their content rollouts need to be carefully planned so they don't interfere with each other. You can't take resources from one game to boost the other because it will hurt the other team's capacity to work on the game. If they can't manage multiple games, they should not be working on multiple games. One thing, kind of aside from all this, you can be as upset as you want about these games. You can be against Bungie's or Sony's management of these franchises. But if you go and attack the devs, or worse, the community managers who are just trying to do their jobs, if you throw insults and death threats at them for any of this, you are a huge piece of shit and need some serious therapy. The future is still uncertain with the two franchises and Bungie as a whole. I hope they can get their ducks in a row and we can get a good resolution for Destiny and success for Marathon. The success of one game is the success of both. I will continue to follow their progress, if anything, so that I can continue to get dungeons in Destiny 2, which are my favorite piece of content and the reason I am still coming back occasionally to the game. thank you for taking the time to listen to my thoughts, and keep on gaming. Bye-bye.